I'm staring at my phone right now, reading the same text message for probably the 100th time in the last hour. 3 simple words that have turned my entire world upside down. I loved you. Past tense. Loved. Not love. And that difference is killing me because I don't know if it's too late to fix this. My name is Tyler Bennett, I'm 26 years old, and I just found out that the girl I've been in love with since I was 14 has apparently felt the same way this whole time. 12 years. 12 years we could have been together. And I had no idea. Let me explain how I got here, sitting in my apartment in Chicago at 2 in the morning, trying to figure out if I just lost my chance at happiness or if there's still time to fix the biggest mistake of my life. When I was 14, my family moved from Ohio to a small town outside of Nashville called Franklin. New school, new neighbors, new everything. I hated it at first. Hated leaving my friends behind, hated being the new kid, hated having to start over. But then on my first day at Franklin High School, I walked into my English class and saw her. Her name was Claire Davidson. She sat 2 rows over by the window, and I remember she was wearing this yellow sweater and had her brown hair pulled back in a ponytail. She was laughing at something her friend said, and when she smiled, her whole face lit up. I'd never believed in love at first sight before that moment. Thought it was something made up for movies and romance novels. But sitting there watching Claire laugh, I felt something shift in my chest. Something that made it hard to breathe and impossible to look away. For the first few weeks, I was too nervous to actually talk to her. I'd see her in English class, in the hallway between periods, at lunch sitting with her group of friends. Every time I planned to say something, I'd freeze up. What if she thought I was weird? What if I said something stupid? What if she already had a boyfriend? Then one day in October, we got paired together for a project on Shakespeare. I thought I might actually pass out when the teacher announced the partners. Claire turned around in her seat and smiled at me. "Hey, Tyler, right? Want to meet at the library after school to work on this?" I managed to say yes without my voice cracking, which felt like a miracle. That afternoon at the library changed everything. Claire wasn't just pretty. She was smart and funny and easy to talk to. She made jokes about Romeo and Juliet being dramatic teenagers. She did impressions of our English teacher that made me laugh so hard the librarian shushed us. By the time we finished working 2 hours later, I was completely gone. Head over heels for this girl who somehow made Shakespeare tolerable and library time fun. After that project, we became friends. Real friends. We'd sit together at lunch, text each other about homework and random thoughts, hang out on weekends. She introduced me to her best friend Ashley, and I introduced her to the few friends I'd made. We'd go to movies together, just the 2 of us, and I'd sit there in the dark theater hyper-aware of how close she was. How if I just moved my hand a few inches, I could hold hers. But I never did. Because what if it ruined our friendship? What if she didn't feel the same way? I couldn't risk losing her completely. So I stayed silent. Kept my feelings locked up tight. Told myself that being her friend was enough, even though it wasn't. Even though every time she dated someone else, it felt like my heart was being ripped out. Junior year, she started dating this guy named Brett from the football team. Watching them together was torture. He'd have his arm around her in the hallway, and I'd have to smile and pretend I was happy for her. She'd tell me about their dates, ask my advice about relationship stuff, and I'd give it even though every word felt like swallowing glass. "Do you think he really likes me?" she asked me once while we were studying at her house. "Of course he does," I said, even though what I wanted to say was that any guy would be lucky to be with her. That I'd been crazy about her since the day I met her. That if she gave me a chance, I'd treat her better than Brett ever could. But I didn't say any of that. Just helped her with her math homework and went home feeling miserable. They broke up after 4 months. Claire said he was too obsessed with football and never really listened to her. I wanted to be happy about it, but she seemed sad, so I just tried to be there for her. Brought her favorite candy to school. Let her vent about how all guys were the same. Agreed when she said high school relationships were stupid anyway. And never once admitted that I was in love with her. Senior year, I dated a girl named Madison for a few months. Partly because I liked her, but mostly because I was trying to get over Claire. Trying to prove to myself that I could have feelings for someone else. It didn't work. Every time Madison and I went out, I'd compare it to hanging out with Claire. Every conversation felt like it was missing something. When Madison broke up with me right before prom because she said I seemed distracted and distant, she wasn't wrong. I was distracted. By a girl I couldn't have. Claire went to prom with some guy from her chemistry class. I went with a group of friends. Spent the whole night watching her dance and laugh and look beautiful in this blue dress, wishing I had the courage to tell her how I felt. That summer before college, Claire and I spent almost every day together. We'd drive around town with the windows down, music playing, talking about everything and nothing. We'd stay up late on her back porch, looking at stars, making plans for the future. She was going to Vanderbilt to study psychology. I was heading to Northwestern to study engineering. Different states. Different lives. Our last night before we both left for school, we sat on that porch until 3 in the morning. "I'm going to miss you so much," she said, and there were tears in her eyes. "I'm going to miss you too." I wanted to tell her then. Wanted to say that I'd been in love with her for 4 years. That the thought of being apart from her felt impossible. That maybe we could try long distance, make it work somehow. But I didn't. Because what if she didn't feel the same way? What if I ruined our last night together? What if I made things awkward right before we both left? So I hugged her goodbye and got in my car and drove away, watching her get smaller in my rearview mirror. College was hard. Not because of the classes or the workload, but because Claire wasn't there. We texted and called regularly at first. She'd tell me about her classes and her roommate and the party scene at Vanderbilt. I'd tell her about Chicago and Northwestern and how different everything was from Franklin. But slowly, over months and years, we drifted. Not in a dramatic way. Just in the natural way that happens when people's lives go in different directions. The texts became less frequent. The calls became shorter. We'd still talk on birthdays and holidays, but it wasn't the same. She got a boyfriend sophomore year, some guy named Derek who was pre-med. I dated a few people here and there, nothing serious. We'd still see each other when we both came home for Christmas or summer break, and those visits were always good. Easy. Like no time had passed. But there was always this wall between us now. This distance that wasn't just physical. I told myself it was better this way. That maybe the space would help me finally get over her. It didn't. If anything, the distance made me realize how much I missed her. How much I wanted her in my life. But by then, it felt too late. We'd grown up. Moved on. Become different people. Right? After college, I got a job at an engineering firm in Chicago. Claire stayed in Nashville, working as a therapist at a private practice. We'd still text occasionally. Happy birthday messages. Congratulations on job promotions. Funny memes that reminded us of inside jokes from high school. Surface level stuff. Safe stuff. Nothing that acknowledged the fact that I was still in love with her after all these years. Nothing that admitted I thought about her constantly. Wondered what she was doing. If she was happy. If she ever thought about me the way I thought about her. Then 3 months ago, I got a text from Ashley, Claire's best friend from high school. We'd stayed in touch loosely over the years, the way you do with people from your hometown. "Hey Tyler, random question. Are you still single?" I told her I was. Asked why she wanted to know. Just curious. Claire asks about you sometimes. Wanted to make sure I had accurate information. My heart did this stupid flip at the idea of Claire asking about me. What does she ask? Just if you're seeing anyone. How you're doing. Normal stuff. Then she sent another message. You know she had the biggest crush on you in high school, right? I stared at that text for a solid 5 minutes. Read it over and over, convinced I was misreading it. What? I finally wrote back. Yeah, she was crazy about you. Junior and senior year especially. We all thought you'd end up together eventually. My hands were shaking. This couldn't be real. Why didn't anyone tell me? We thought you knew. The way you two were together, we all assumed you both knew and were just taking your time or something. Wait, did you seriously not know she liked you? No. I had no idea. I thought she just saw me as a friend. Oh my God, Tyler. You're kidding me right now. Ashley sent a laughing emoji. This explains so much. You were both completely oblivious. That's actually hilarious. It wasn't hilarious. It was devastating. All those years. All those moments I'd held back because I thought she didn't feel the same way. And she had. The whole time. Does she know I liked her? I asked, even though I was pretty sure I knew the answer. No, I don't think so. She always said you probably just saw her as a friend. That she was in the friend zone. We'd both been in love with each other and too scared to say anything. We'd both missed our chance because we were too afraid of rejection. The irony was almost funny. Almost. Can I tell her? I asked Ashley. That I had feelings for her. There was a long pause. Then, I don't know if that's a good idea. She's with someone now. Has been for about a year. Guy named Marcus. He's nice. They seem happy. Of course she was with someone. Of course I'd found this out too late. Story of my life with Claire. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Forget I asked. But I couldn't forget. For the next 3 months, that information consumed me. Claire had liked me. Past tense, sure, but still. We'd missed each other by being too afraid. And now she was with someone else, and I was alone in Chicago wondering what my life would look like if I'd just been brave enough to tell her how I felt back in high school. Or college. Or literally any time in the past 12 years. I thought about reaching out to her. Calling her. Texting her. Telling her everything. But what would be the point? She'd moved on. Found someone who actually had the courage to tell her how he felt. I'd missed my window. Then last week, Claire called me. Not a text. An actual phone call. I almost didn't answer because it was so unexpected, but curiosity won out. Hey, I said, trying to sound casual even though my heart was racing. Hey Tyler. Is this a bad time? Her voice sounded different. Tired maybe. Or sad. No, it's fine. What's up? Everything okay? Yeah, I needed to talk to someone. And I know this is random, we haven't really talked in a while, but you've always been easy to talk to. Of course. What's going on? She took a breath. Marcus and I broke up. 2 days ago. And I'm fine, it was the right decision, but I'm just processing everything and I realized I wanted to talk to you about it. I'm sorry, Claire. That sucks. We talked for over an hour. She told me about the relationship, how it had been good at first but then started feeling wrong. How Marcus was a good person but they wanted different things. How she'd been the one to end it, but it still hurt. I listened, gave advice where I could, tried to be supportive. And the whole time, My brain was screaming that this was my chance. She was single. I could tell her how I felt. Finally. After 12 years. But I didn't. Because she was going through a breakup and vulnerable, and confessing my feelings right then would be taking advantage of that. So I just talked to her like a friend. Told her she'd be okay. That she'd made the right choice if it didn't feel right. When we hung up, she said, "Thank you, Tyler. I really needed this. I miss talking to you. I miss talking to you too." And I meant it. So much that it physically hurt. Over the next week, we texted more. Fell back into our old rhythm of constant communication. She'd send me updates about her day. I'd send her funny things I saw. It felt like high school again. Like no time had passed. Like we were still those kids who couldn't admit how they felt. Except we weren't kids anymore. We were adults. And I was running out of excuses not to be honest with her. Friday night, I decided I was going to tell her. I'd call her this weekend and just say it. Lay everything out. Tell her I'd been in love with her since I was 14. That finding out she'd felt the same way had turned my world upside down. That I knew the timing might not be perfect since she just got out of a relationship, but I couldn't keep this inside anymore. I needed her to know. Saturday afternoon, before I could call her, she texted me. "Can I tell you something? It's kind of heavy." Of course. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. My phone rang instead. "Hey, what's going on?" I answered. "I can't do this over text," she said. Her voice was shaking. "Tyler, I need to tell you something I should have told you a long time ago." My heart was pounding. "Okay. Ashley told me last week that she accidentally mentioned to you that I had a crush on you in high school. And I've been freaking out about it ever since because I don't know what you thought when you heard that, or if it changed anything, or if you even cared. But I can't stop thinking about it, so I'm just going to say this." She paused. I held my breath. I was in love with you in high school. Not just a crush. I was completely, stupidly in love with you. From sophomore year until we graduated. Maybe even after. And I never told you because I thought you just saw me as a friend. I convinced myself that you couldn't possibly feel the same way, so I dated other people and tried to move on. But I never really did. Not completely. Tears were building in my eyes. When we went to different colleges, I thought maybe the distance would help. That I'd finally get over you. But every relationship I had, I compared to what we had. Every guy I dated, I wished was you. And I know that's not fair to them or to you, but it's the truth. Her voice broke. Ashley told me last week that you asked if you could tell me you had feelings for me too. Past tense. And I've been going crazy wondering if that was true. If you actually felt something for me back then. Or if you were just being nice or curious or whatever. So I'm asking you now, directly. Did you have feelings for me in high school? I was crying now. Full tears running down my face. Claire, I've been in love with you since the day I met you. Since English class freshman year when you laughed at your friend's joke and I thought you were the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. I loved you all through high school. Through college. After college. I still love you now. I never stopped. Silence on the other end. Then, quietly, what? I'm in love with you. I have been for 12 years. I didn't tell you because I was scared. Because I thought you didn't feel the same way. Because I didn't want to ruin our friendship. But I've loved you this entire time, Claire. Every single day. She was crying now too. I could hear it in her breathing. We're idiots, she said, laughing through tears. We're such idiots. Complete idiots, I agreed. 12 years, Tyler. We wasted 12 years. I know. I don't want to waste any more time. I can't. I've spent so long wondering what if, and now I know, and I can't just go back to pretending I don't feel this way. My heart was racing. What are you saying? I'm saying I love you. Present tense. I'm in love with you. And I know I just got out of a relationship and the timing is messy and we live in different states, but I don't care. I need you to know how I feel. I need you to know that this isn't past tense for me. It's right now. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Could only feel this overwhelming rush of joy and relief and disbelief that this was actually happening. I'm in Chicago, I said. You're in Nashville. I know. That's an 8-hour drive. I know. I could be there by morning if I left right now. She laughed, and it sounded like sunshine. Are you serious? Completely serious. I've waited 12 years to tell you I love you. I'm not waiting another day to see you. Tyler, it's 7 o'clock at night. You'd be driving all night. I don't care. Do you want me to come? Yes. God, yes. Get in your car right now. I grabbed my keys and my wallet and ran to my car like my life depended on it. Called her back once I was on the road. I'm leaving my apartment now. I'll text you when I'm close. Drive safe. Please drive safe. I will. Claire. Yeah. I love you. Her voice was soft. I love you too. I can't believe this is real. It's real. I'm coming to you. Finally. I drove through the night, stopping only for gas and coffee. Every mile that passed felt like it was bringing me closer to the life I should have had all along. The life I'd been too scared to reach for. Around 3 in the morning, somewhere in Kentucky, my phone rang. Claire. Hey, are you okay? Do you need to pull over and sleep? No, I'm good. Wide awake. What are you doing up? Couldn't sleep. Too excited. Too nervous. Tyler, what happens when you get here? What do you mean? I mean, what are we doing? Are we dating? Are we figuring it out? Are we jumping into something serious? I don't know how this works. I thought about it. I think we're just being honest. For the first time in 12 years, we're being completely honest about how we feel. And we're seeing where that takes us. No more hiding. No more being afraid. I like that. Me too. Tell me something, she said. Something you never told me before. Like what? Anything. A moment you remember. Something you thought but never said. I smiled. Remember junior year when you went to prom with that guy from chemistry? I spent the whole night watching you dance. You were wearing that blue dress, and you looked so beautiful it hurt. I almost told you that night. Almost walked over and asked you to dance with me instead of him. But I didn't. And I've regretted it ever since. She was quiet. Then, I wished you would have. I kept hoping you'd ask me to prom, but when you didn't, I said yes to him because I didn't want to go alone. But the whole night, I kept looking for you. Hoping you'd notice me. I noticed you. I always noticed you. We talked until the sun started coming up. She told me about all the times she'd almost confessed her feelings. Times she'd typed out texts and deleted them. Moments she'd opened her mouth to say something and chickened out. I told her about all the nights I'd lain awake thinking about her. All the relationships that failed because they weren't her. All the what-ifs that had haunted me. By the time I crossed into Tennessee, we'd shared 12 years of unspoken feelings. 12 years of almosts and maybes and if onlys. And with every confession, I felt lighter. Like I was finally letting go of all the weight I'd been carrying. I pulled up to her apartment in Nashville around 6:30 in the morning. Called her from the parking lot. "I'm here. I'll be right down." She hung up. 30 seconds later, her apartment door opened and she ran down the stairs. I got out of my car. And then she was there. Right in front of me. Claire. The girl I'd loved since I was 14. The girl I'd crossed 3 states to see. She looked the same and different all at once. Still beautiful. Still her. But older now. More sure of herself. "Hi," she said, and her eyes were already wet. "Hi." We stood there for a second, just looking at each other. 12 years of longing in the space between us. Then she stepped forward and wrapped her arms around me, and I held her like I'd wanted to hold her for over a decade. She was crying. I was crying. We were both laughing and crying and holding each other in a parking lot at dawn. "I can't believe you drove all night," she said into my shoulder. "I drive a lot further than that for you." She pulled back to look at me. "I love you, Tyler Bennett. I should have told you when we were 16, but I'm telling you now. I love you. I love you too, Claire Davidson. Always have. Always will." Then I kissed her. Finally. After 12 years of wanting to. And it was perfect. Better than I'd imagined. Her hands in my hair, mine on her waist, both of us pouring years of unspoken feelings into this moment. When we broke apart, she was smiling. Was that worth the wait? Every second of it. She took my hand. "Come on. You must be exhausted. Let's get you inside." We went up to her apartment. I'd been awake for almost 24 hours, running on adrenaline and love and terrible gas station coffee. But I didn't care. I was here. With her. Finally. We sat on her couch, and she curled into my side like she belonged there. Like this was always where we were meant to end up. "What now?" she asked. "Now we figure it out. Together. You live in Chicago. I live here. That's not exactly easy. Nothing worth having is easy. We'll make it work. I'll visit. You'll visit. And maybe eventually one of us relocates. We have options." She looked up at me. "You'd move here? For me? I'd move anywhere for you. I already proved that by driving through the night." She kissed me again. Soft and sweet. "I don't want to mess this up. I've waited too long for this. We both have. So we won't mess it up. We'll communicate. Be honest. Actually tell each other how we feel instead of hiding it. Novel concept for us," she said with a laugh. Revolutionary. I stayed in Nashville for the whole weekend. We didn't do anything special. Just spent time together. Talked about everything. Made up for lost time. It was the best weekend of my life. That was 6 months ago. We've been doing long distance since then, and yeah, it's hard sometimes. The 8-hour drive between Chicago and Nashville isn't fun. The time apart is challenging. But we make it work. We talk every day. Video chat at night. Visit each other every few weeks. And last month, I got a job offer in Nashville. Better position, better pay, same field. I accepted it without hesitation. I'm moving next week. Claire doesn't know yet. I'm going to surprise her. Show up at her apartment with boxes and tell her I'm staying. That I'm done with the distance. That I want to build a life with her in the same city. No more 8-hour drives. No more missing her. Just us. Together. Finally. People say you can't make up for lost time, but I disagree. Claire and I spent 12 years not being together, but now we appreciate every moment because we know how close we came to never having this. We don't take each other for granted. We don't hold back our feelings. We say I love you constantly because we remember what it was like when we couldn't. Sometimes the best love stories are the ones that take time. The ones that require patience and missed chances and near misses before everything finally lines up. Claire and I could have been together at 16 or 18 or 22. But we weren't ready then. We needed to grow up separately so we could come together as the people we were meant to be. She kept a secret for years. That she loved me. And I kept the same secret. Two people too afraid to be honest, too scared to risk what they had for what they wanted. But secrets don't stay buried forever. And sometimes, when the truth finally comes out, it's better than anything you could have imagined. I'm moving to Nashville next week. I'm going to marry this girl someday. And when people ask how we got together, I'm going to tell them the truth. That we were childhood friends who fell in love but were too afraid to say it. That we wasted 12 years being scared. That it took until we were 26 to finally be brave enough to admit how we felt. And that every single second of waiting was worth it for the life we have now. Some people say timing is everything. But I think honesty is everything. And courage. And being willing to risk it all for the person you can't imagine living without. Claire was worth the wait. Worth the fear. Worth every moment of uncertainty. And now that I have her, I'm never letting go.